Now, could you forgive infidelity? What if your husband ran off with your sister, your daughter, or even your mother? Personal stories coming up with Kilroy next. Ainsley's going international with some teriyaki chicken with oriental veg and a pile of Indian pakora. That's in an hour. Then hair and makeup to make you look 10 years younger. Oh, looking good, not to be missed. That's at 10:30. So you're all set up for the next couple of hours here on BBC One. And to start things off now on BBC One, here's Kilroy.
Good morning, everyone. Hello. Hello and good morning. Could you forgive infidelity? Well, Jenny's partner had an affair with her mother. Cheryl's partner ran off with her sister. And Carol's second husband had an affair with her daughter. That's all I go, ooh, tut, tut, tut. Right then, the next question is, who forgave who or whom? Your husband ran off with your daughter. Carol, can you forgive him?
Yes.
Why?
You can always forgive once, not twice, where my daughter's done it on me twice.
Your daughter, how do you mean your daughter's done it on you twice?
Well, as you know, I've been married twice. My daughter ran off with her boyfriend because my first husband died. And when I got my act together, yes, I started courting again, and she had an affair with him.
How old was your daughter?
She'd be in her 1920s.
And how old was your then partner?
45.
And how long, she had an affair?
Yes.
How long did the affair last?
Roughly 2 years.
Did you never know about it?
Yes, I did.
What do you mean, yes, you did?
Well, I found them kissing and canoodling at the top of my stairs. So I told him to go, very politely, and her with him. And the affair lasted 2 years.
So they went off and,
Yeah.
But she came back?
The affair went sour, and she asked me if I'd take her back home.
Into your house?
Yeah.
Oh, so not just back into the kind of bosom of your heart as a friend
home,
and a daughter,
yeah.
but actually into your house?
Yeah, back
And
home.
And you did?
Yeah, because I'm very forgiving, Robert. Very
I think
forgiving.
you are, Carol.
Probably I don't know, probably I'm soft, but I couldn't see her out on the street. So, yes, I took her back home. And then she sort of found her feet again and started courting different men. And this time round, I have been married 9 years. Had a very, very good marriage. And then it sort of hit a rocky patch. Arguing. I don't know whether it were my hormones, his hormones, I don't know. But we'd really hit a rocky patch. And I kept telling him to go. And the only person that he went to was my daughters. And for a while this went on. The rocky patches lasted about 18 months.
What do you mean you went to your daughters for a while? What, how old is your daughter now?
She's 32.
And when you say you went to your daughters, she was living alone, was she?
Yeah, she's got a son.
Right, and he went and stayed with her?
Yeah.
And when he was staying with her, what was he staying with her as her mother's husband, or was he staying with her as her boyfriend?
No, I mean, it's gone a couple of times, Robert, because we wasn't hitting it off. We weren't.
Yeah, but he's gone to stay with her a couple of times. Do they sleep together?
And he slept downstairs, she slept up.
That's what they told you, or that's what?
Yeah, but...
yeah, I mean, what was it? That's what they told you, or that's what happened?
Yeah, but I believe that.
All right.
And it come to just before Christmas. We really did have a blazing row. And things went, so I just chucked him out. And he went down there. And all the fortnight, we were arguing, carrying on. And then I sort of calmed things down a little bit. and I asked him what he was doing over Christmas, because my daughter used to come up to me Christmas time. So I asked him what he was doing. He says, I don't know. I says, well, you might as well come up home for Christmas and have Christmas with us. And then, like Boxing night, I actually found out that they'd slept together.
How did you find out?
I asked him if he could meet me, because I'd been out on Boxing night, and he turned round and said no. So I went round to her house and I asked what was going on, and he just turned round and he said, I love your daughter.
And what did your daughter say?
Well, she didn't have a great deal to say.
What did you say to her?
Well, I called him all the names under the sun. I can't
Him?
swear.
Yeah.
Yes. And I called her. And yes, a bit of a ruckus broke out.
Could you believe this was the second time your daughter had done it to you?
Pardon?
Could you believe that this was the second
No,
time?
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it at all. And I couldn't believe it of him. Because he always said that he'd never do anything like that.
But you've had him back?
But we are actually living together, Robert.
You are?
No. But we're trying to work things out and make a go of his marriage.
So you've had him back, in a sense. You're trying to work it out.
We're trying to work things out.
So you've forgiven him?
I'm forgiving, yeah.
Why?
How can you forgive someone who does that? If it's two members of family, two people you trust so much, and they do that to you, not once, but twice.
I'm forgiving Eric because he's only done it once.
His daughter's done
Yeah,
it
but your
twice.
daughter's done it twice.
I've not forgiven her.
But why forgive him, not your daughter? Your daughter's more close than your
My
partner,
daughter is more close, yes, but I married him, I have got children, and I want to work it out for the children. And I do love him.
So is it
Mercy?
because of love that you will stay in a relationship and be punished emotionally?
I'm not being
Because
punished.
if your daughter could have done that to you once and have done it again, and you are saying you're taking this man back because you love him, how much love does he have for you? Is it the same amount of love you have for him that he's returning to you?
I just don't know how much love he has told me he loves me. But
not
how
only
much
love,
love
is
he
it?
has got, I
Did you
don't know.
forgive your husband?
It's got to be respect as well, I meant no. He went off with my sister-in-law, my brother's wife. I never forgive any of them, no. It's too close to home, it's too close. And it's not only you that gets hurt, there's 6 children involved in my case.
Yeah,
And both of them suffer, and it's not just yourself and your husband and your daughter, it's the whole entire
the whole family. The whole family is hurting. The whole family of my family don't want me to have him back.
But they must also feel very strange, diffident towards your daughter.
Well, they are, yes.
Have you got brothers and sisters?
I've got brothers, yeah.
Have you got mum and dad alive still?
Yes.
So her grandparents must be in a great dilemma, because they're your
My
parents,
yeah.
you're their daughter, and it's their granddaughter that's betrayed their daughter.
Yeah.
Who is her mother? Whose side are they taking?
They're taking mine because they don't want me to have anything to do with my daughter.
But who do you blame? Do you blame any of them or
I
not?
blame the pair of them. I mean, I shoved him in there in a way because every time I chucked him out, he sort of went down there.
Yeah, but you can't say that kind of, because there's both in a situation, both of them could have said no. In my case, whoever makes the first move, the other person's always in a situation to say no. The other person should walk away.
I blame her.
Can you understand her forgiving her husband?
It's a bit of different circumstances. It was my sister, and she was 16, and I was with him 11 years, my partner, 2 children, buying a house, and obviously he'd known her since she was knee-high sort of thing. Practically, we was like a mum and dad to her part-time. She used to spend weekends, so... no, and when I found out he left me for her, no, I was absolutely devastated. I just couldn't believe it, the hurt and anger. And it's like she says, it's the family, it's the whole family that destroys it.
Don't get me wrong, I'm hurt, I'm angry. I want sort of revenge.
Oh,
and
yeah,
And I
definitely.
cannot get it.
I can understand that, yeah.
What do you want revenge on? Your daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, you could tell she wants revenge, can't you? What do you want to do?
I don't know. I just don't know.
You want to hurt her?
Not physically or
No, but
anything. But, I
emotions.
mean, I am hurting her anyway because
I think you want them to hurt how you hurt, but you can't make them hurt like you hurt.
How do
Because
you
no
hurt?
one hurt.
How do you
I'm
hurt?
hurting.
Well, I wasn't hurt because me and my husband were in the process of splitting up anyway. But my sister-in-law knew her since I was 10 years old. It's like a close friend. So all my problems I was having with my husband, I was going down and telling her all about it, and all the time she's having an affair with my husband. But you want to hurt them, they've hurt you. It's the deceit. They're having an affair behind your back, and they're going out with. We've gone out in a foursome at the time, and all the time they're laughing. It feels like they're laughing at you behind your back because you're going out in a foursome, and they're having this greedy little affair behind your back.
Who do you not forgive? Neither.
I did. I was
Your husband or
angry.
your sister?
For 4 years, I couldn't speak. I didn't want to know any of them. It destroyed the family as such, you know. But after 4 years, I met my sister and we talked, and I forgive my sister.
But you not forgive your husband?
No, it was not my husband. He was my partner.
Okay.
No.
But when you say you split the family apart, what did Mum and Dad take different sides?
Yeah,
then?
they did.
Really?
They took me younger sister. He went down there to live. So yeah.
Why? He left you for her. And
He
they...
went down with mum's to live. He said he needed a break. Basically, I put 2 and 2 together. It's because my little sister was living at home.
Right.
And she stopped coming up weekends to see me like she used to. And I put the jigsaw puzzle together. I confronted me mum and dad, and basically it all come out that they were having this affair. And basically, yeah, they did cover for them.
Your parents knew
yeah.
about it?
Covered
Yeah.
for them?
Well, yeah.
What do you mean covered?
Well, they had them down there. They agreed to it, and when I found out, I kicked off. I just went mad in my mum's house, and they left. And my mum blamed me basically for Lucy not finishing her education because I had to leave.
Because she went off with your husband?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
There's no justice in this world, is there?
No.
Is that how you feel, Jenny?
Well, I lost my entire family. They all took my mum's side, and that my mum, my partner and I were having just general problems, nothing too serious. He went to live in her spare room,
Your mum's?
my mum's spare room, and he was only gone 4 days when I found out that they'd been having an affair.
How long have they been having an affair?
I, to this day, still don't know. I've heard different stories. He claims twice. She wrote to me shortly afterwards saying that it was 6 months, I've heard different stories from her. I haven't spoke to her for 6 years.
Are they still together?
No, I took him back.
You took him back?
Yeah.
How can you take them back? I don't understand how people can take them back. They do it once. I mean, every time they go out that door, you must be thinking.
I wouldn't do it
about
again.
doing it again.
I wouldn't take anybody who cheated again. But I did then. I can only put it down as being young.
Oh,
So
you're not
another man who
together
comes
now?
and says, I'm going to
No.
sleep with your mother, you won't have him back?
No.
I mean, what about the age
Serena?
difference here?
Well, it
Age,
obviously
we're talking about different age groups.
It didn't bother them, did it?
Age
What do you mean,
doesn't
really?
come into it.
What do you
Well,
mean?
the age groups.
Which one,
between-
Mum? How old was Mum? When she was your mum?
47,
And how old was he?
24, 20.
That's a different generation, isn't it, really?
It didn't bother them. For some reason, they managed
bother
Well, it
to...
didn't bother her, obviously, did it?
Your mother who gave birth
Mercy.
to you, brought you
Tell
on
me
this
about
earth,
it. I don't talk
turned
to her.
around and slept with the man you had.
And told me about it.
Had you told you about it? What do you mean?
She told me. She phoned me up. He'd come over to see me. He'd moved out and he was still visiting. And suddenly, she phoned up 3 times that evening. The last phone call was, is he still there? Is he coming back to my house tonight? Does he want a bath? I said, no, he's in the bath now. He's fine.
Does
I
he
don't
want
know
a
if he's
bath?
coming back.
Why does she ask if he wants a bath?
Probably to leave the immersion heater on. I presume that was what it was over. And then suddenly...
That's very kind.
Oh, she's stingy with the hot water, your mum. Had you got children?
I had a son already from a previous relationship. He was very close to him.
But not with this.
No, no.
What was it actually feel? Everybody you heard all the tut-tuts. It started off with Carol and her daughter. It kind of got more tut-tuts with Cheryl and her sister. And then we had sister-in-law. All these sisters, daughters, sisters, sister-in-law. And the tut-tutters up the back there were kind of going into overdrive. And then when he got to Mom, they were so gobsmacked they couldn't tut-tut. Well, I'm right, aren't I? Yeah. And what are you thinking? Does anybody want to tell me what you're thinking about your mum sleeping with your husband? What would you feel if you learned that your mum was sleeping with your husband? Disgusted. Right, can you imagine it?
No.
What do you think? Your mum's just told you, does he want a bath? Is he coming to my house tonight? No, seriously, what do you think your feelings would be?
Well, in my mother's days, they didn't have a bathroom.
You win some, you lose some. That was a loser. You can go home now. And you can walk without your shoes. Because we're talking serious here. Back to being serious. Because this is, I know you're laughing too, because you have to, don't you, really, I suppose. But it's actually quite serious. Seriously, not quite serious, it's deadly serious. At the moment you realise... Now, let's go back a bit. Presumably you got on very well with your mum.
It was
Your
always
mother?
tempestuous.
Your relationship with your
Yeah.
mum. Did she ever kind of vie with you for boyfriends or anything like that before? Did she flirt with them or anything like that, other than in a kind of normal way?
I'd never noticed anything.
You'd never noticed. So at the moment, so you don't expect your mother to steal your man, do you?
No, never in my lifetime
No,
would
of
I have
course you don't.
expected
I mean,
that.
you don't expect your sister, you don't expect your sister-in-law, you don't expect your daughter, but I think probably above all it's your mum. Yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Is this what we're agreeing that's the worst?
Yeah.
It's your mum. Worse than your sister-in-law, worse than sister, worse than daughter. Is it?
Yeah. Well, your mum's next best friend to a friend.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah. Okay, so it's your mum. So that's the worst thing. At the moment when you really knew it was true, what did you feel?
Sick, angry. I was more hurt that she'd done it than at him for doing it. I couldn't believe that she would do something like that to me. You know, it was incomprehensible. There was just no way I'd ever suspected it.
What did you say to her?
I went to her house after the phone call and asked her what was going on. She wouldn't talk to me. She wouldn't answer any questions on it. And to this day, I've never spoken to her since, and I never will.
And the partner?
He came back and moved in the next day.
With you?
Yeah. Yep, we stayed together for 2 years after that. And then we went our separate ways.
I don't want to be kind of... I think probably everybody's got this question in their mind, but, you know, it's one of those we don't like to ask. And I'll probably get millions of letters complaining, but that's an occupation. Go on, Marilyn said, ask it anyway. And I've got to ask it, because I would hate myself if I didn't. But when you were sleeping with him, did you not think of your mum?
No.
Never? When you were... Because that's what...
I put her out of my mind. She died that day.
Yeah, but his relationship with her...
That was his business.
You were really able to... So all the moments when you were close together, intimate, sexually, all the rest of it, you could put... I suppose you'd got to, hadn't you?
I had to
Otherwise you
detach
couldn't.
from it, because otherwise it would have destroyed me.
And it
Not
never
just our relationship, but it would have destroyed me.
Faces, because I think when you know the people, you imagine their two faces, you imagine them both together. And in my case, where I was so close to my sister-in-law, I knew all her private business and she knew all mine, knew your intimacy, and you put them both together, and you know what you're both doing, what your partner's like in bed, and you imagine it all the time. How can you lie in bed with that man, been with your mum, and imagining what he's doing with you, he's not doing with your mum?
Well, you put it much better than me. I'm glad you asked. Well, of course you are. Yeah, I was trying to be delicate. You just go in there.
It never, ever, ever entered my mind that, you know, any of it. It's just, I detached from her. She just did not exist. What
My
happened,
husband
happened.
cheated on me with a girl in Spain. He'd been working out there for 6 weeks. He come back, he left. Yeah, we've got 3 children, and I wanted to forgive him. And I remember one time, and he was still in contact with this girl in Spain, and we'd gone to bed, and we'd done, you know, what you do in bed. And at the end, he turned around and he said he felt so guilty. And I thought for me, and it wasn't, it was for the girl in Spain. And he actually sat there and said it. I took him back.
You took him back?
The first time.
Why?
Because we've got 3 children and I couldn't change my feelings overnight. He'd been away for 6 weeks, and in that time I'm looking after his children, going to work, running the house, missing him, and he come back and he's like, I had an affair with a 22-year-old and he loved her, he didn't love me. And I'm like, you can't just change your feelings overnight. He left, don't get me wrong, the police were involved. I was taken down to the police station. I was sat in a cell for 4 hours because when we'd had the fights and I picked up scissors. And I didn't use them, but it was just, yeah, I wish I had now. It was, of course, and I went out and I ripped his wing mirrors off his car. Of course, he called the police and they came with their jackets on because when they'd been before, I'd had scissors. So they stood outside and they said, have you got any weapons? And I just lifted up my top and said, search. And he stood there and he said, see, I told you she's no lady. I said, no, I'm no lady. I never claimed to be a lady, but I'm all woman.
Get a kick out of the revenge.
Yeah, I mean, I cut his boots up. I bleached, he's a firefighter. I bleached his uniform. I wrote on with paint on clothes. And I took him back.
Oh, you only took half measures then, like?
Yeah. I did little things, you know, but all the while we were back the first time, he wouldn't wear his wedding ring, couldn't tell me he loved me, said he didn't feel married, yet we did everything. You know, we got 3 children, we went everywhere together. And then he done it again with a best friend of mine.
Yeah, my husband goes with the Balkans. When they were fighting in Bosnia, I sent his clothes to Sarajevo. This time they went to the other one.
Why did you do that?
Well, the first time he went away, it was a few years ago, and the kids were very little. It was precious of a new baby in the house and that. And I just thought, oh well, he's gone. No lot I can do about it. I just got all his clothes, bagged them off to, you know, Bosnia.
Bosnia?
Yeah, I'm very generous to needy cause.
Did you iron and wash them first?
Yeah, I did actually.
Yeah,
they were all
yeah.
nicely on hangers.
I can believe it, yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Because that's what you women do, isn't it? And did you have him back?
I did, yeah. Yeah, I did.
So she sent his clothes to Bosnia.
Yeah,
then
and
she had
had
him
to buy
back.
a new
And then she had to go and buy a new clothes. Oh, what would we do without you women, eh?
Oh, no. Anyway.
And then you bought him, and you went out shopping with him for his new clothes, didn't you?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
You said you stood in front of the mirror and you said, "Yeah, that's nice. No, have another pair." Didn't you? The trousers are too long. You said you did, didn't you?
More than likely, yeah.
Yeah, you did.
But we were together for 14, 15 years, about 7 years solid, and he decided he wanted to get married. So I thought, well, it wasn't really in my agenda for life, but I thought, yeah, all right, I'll go along with this. And we had 3 weeks to the day, because I got married the day after my birthday. No, the day before, sorry. And we goes, puts the thing, plans the wedding. It was a proper wedding, flowers, cameras, the lot, everything there. And there was only a few of us. There was only 7 people there, but it was everything else. And then we had, the first year was brilliant, and on the 21st of March last year, I got an anniversary card saying, you know, first one's always the hardest, many more to come. And 5 weeks later, we went on holiday, and we've got friends in Crete and that, and we had 2 weeks, and we decided to stay a 3rd week because we'd had such a good time and whatnot, and he had some spare cash. Anyhow, we stayed the 3 weeks, and on the 2nd week we were there, we met a person called Carol, and she tagged along with us because she went with a young girl. She was in her 40s, and she went with a 20-odd-year-old who came in the pub where she worked in the village. And it was a case of, oh, come with us. You know, the young girl went off on her own with the holiday reps and that. So she tagged along. There was nothing untoward. She was quite friendly. I actually found her dull because all she whittled on about was how her husband had left her for a young woman and left her and her 2 children to cope a year previously. And when you hear that for a while, I suppose people get sick of me sometimes, but you know, you think, oh, well, listen to her, you know, encourage her.
We haven't got sick of you yet.
She used to come to the beach and that. It was me more or less talking to her. Jeff went off playing off with the kids and stuff like that. And then the night before we came away, we had a barbecue. The friends who were on the pub had a barbecue, and we, you know, had food, drink, you were full of it and that. And I says, oh, went to another pub and there was a few of us in there. I says, oh, Jeff, I'm going to move on. I said, I'll go back, sort the kids and that. And yeah, he says, I'll be back in half an hour. 4 hours later, and he rolls. And I thought, it did enter my mind because she'd had a few to drink. And I mean, the rest of the holiday, 3 lagers had lasted her all night. She wasn't extravagant and she wasn't a drinker. And it did sort of cross my mind, but I thought, nah, it's not going to happen. But anyway, that was that. The night we were coming away from Crete, it was, oh, Alma, throwing our arms round us, you've made my holiday so nice, you've got 2 lovely boys, what a lovely family you've got, and I'm so pleased I've met you. And we got back to Newcastle on the Tuesday, and on the Wednesday, Jeff, as planned, was going down to London to his mum's, and that was the last I seen of him from the 26th of May until, I think he contacted in the August because my son got knocked over. What happened was
he went off with this woman.
Yeah, he went down to London, but that was short-lived, and.
When he went off, you realised he went off with this woman.
Well, I realised because his bank statements, all his mail still come, but still does come. Junk mail still does come to the house.
But you told everybody, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought, oh, he's gone down to his mum's. No, he didn't phone. I was ringing up, no contact, couldn't get in touch with him. I thought he was dead. And I opened his bank statements, which wasn't really untoward. And I thought, Sheffield, what the hell, you know? And then I realised that these 2 girls, the young one and Carol, had come from this village just outside Grindleford. It's about 12 miles from Sheffield.
You put posters all around your village?
Yeah.
Can we see the posters?
Yeah.
This is the poster you put.
Yeah.
What is Did it make you feel better, that?
Well, I'd done it because basically once I knew he'd gone, he went on the 26th of May. On the, I think it was the 12th of June, I thought, well, you had your chance years ago. You went away. I took you back. You asked me to marry you, and the words fidelity. You've broke it, mate. You've blew it. You're not coming back.
Will you forgive him?
No.
And that's it. It's over.
Yeah. I'd like to be friends.
Is fidelity important, Guy?
I think fidelity is important if you start off on that premise. If you say to someone you're going to be honest and faithful for the rest of your time together, then you should be. But the point is, 50% of the male population are showing fidelity at some point or another. 35% of the female population or something.
Well, so hang on. So have you been faithful to all the...
No. No.
Why?
The only person I was ever faithful to was unfaithful to me. That was a very, very long-standing 3-year relationship, which was about halfway through my life. Someone who I was very much in love with, someone I cared a hell of a lot for, had a extracurricular activity with one of my best friends. And subsequent to that, I actually opened my eyes to the simple fact that everyone in this room at some point or another has thought about being unfaithful. No. And a large
never considered being unfaithful, because if you're in a relationship, like you said, that's a very good point you made. If you've decided to be committed to someone, then you shouldn't be looking elsewhere. You should be in that relationship, and if it's not working, then say, it's not working, we're not getting on, things aren't going the way I planned, I've met someone else, I want to be with someone else, end it.
I've met someone else, I want to be with someone else. How can you meet someone else and want to be with someone else when you're in a relationship?
Well, these people that have affairs supposedly just run into these people in bars or meet them at work.
Towards the end of a relationship, if you're not happy with the relationship, the way that you're with...
tell the partner that you're with that it's
not
happy,
I'm just going to have little scouts around until I find someone else.
If you want to end a relationship, end it, move on, and then start looking around. Don't be bringing in 3rd, 4th, 5th parties and then having a partner at home.
You're not aware of many people that have gone and met someone else and then ended their relationship.
Have you been in that situation?
Well, I've been in the situation where I've been at home. I've been completely happy. I was going out with someone for 4 years. Everything was great. We had a great laugh. We enjoyed each other's company. We discussed everything under the sun. You know, everything was fine up until the moment I discovered they'd had an affair. Yeah. And everything was absolutely fine. And we were in a relationship where it was understood we're going out together. that's the end of story. There's nobody else involved, and if we did meet someone else, we'd have to say, look, I've met someone else, I'm confused, I think we ought to call it a day, and if it doesn't work out with the other person, that's your hard cheese. But you can't be hedging your bets here, there, and everywhere.
I'm not saying you're hedging your bets here, there, and everywhere. I'm saying that the majority of relationships are starting to go sour. At some point in that sour period, you're going out with your girlfriends for a night out, your boyfriends for a night out, and your chances are you will bump into someone else because that's why you're out and about to have fun and enjoy yourself.
There's a huge amount lack of self-control.
Well, not if you're unhappy.
No, that's rubbish. No commitment, it's immature.
I'm not saying this is what I do. I tell all my relationships that I have these days that there's a likelihood I am going to go out and meet someone else.
Well, I think that's really immature.
Well, no, it's perfectly honest.
I think
it doesn't hurt anyone's feelings. They know what I'm doing from the start.
Did you say that basically you were unfaithful when the woman was unfaithful to you?
No, not subsequent, not as a result of. The only time it really hurt me was when someone was unfaithful to me.
But you said in every other relationship you've been in, you've been unfaithful.
I have been unfaithful.
But you know how it feels to be cheated on, and I would like to think that God, once you know how it feels, wouldn't that almost act as a guard against sort of doing it again? Because you wouldn't want to inflict that pain on someone else.
It's a fact of being human.
How can it be
It's a fact of being human, he says.
No, I disagree with you entirely.
We're all animals.
No, we're not.
Hang on, I found another animal.
No. A lot of
tell him.
A lot of people think that men are stereotyped into cheating and so forth.
Sure.
Yeah, and a lot of us who do not cheat get stereotyped into this category.
But who are we cheating with? We're cheating with women.
No.
Oh, what do you mean no? Of course he is. Who do you think he's cheating with? Monks?
Strictly heterosexual.
Hang on, sorry, I can't get you there, Fred, please. Go on.
But while you're cheating on all these women, you're deceiving them, you're lying to them, and basically what happened to where there's no trust, there's no love. You're never going to get anybody to love you.
You're lying and deceiving to them if you said you're going to be true in the first place.
But you've already said you've also been unfaithful.
When I was younger, yes.
To someone else.
You said in every relationship you've been unfaithful since. Hang on, what's it like then? What's it feel like?
It feels like it hurts. It hurts like mad. My husband had an affair and I tried to forgive him. We got back together, but like most of the stories today, that the relationship comes to an end anyway. I couldn't forget basically, and we had a family as a result, tried to strengthen the marriage, but I wanted revenge, and I realised at that point when I did want revenge that I shouldn't be in the relationship anyway, and the marriage came to an end 4 years later, but with a child as a result.
What was the revenge?
I resented him and I didn't want to do anything nice for him anymore. Not necessarily go out and have an affair, but like this lady said up here, you want to hurt them like they've hurt you, but you can't do that. Yeah. You're never going to hurt them the same. You hurt yourself in the long run, and I ended up in a very dead marriage where I couldn't even bear to make him a cup of coffee in the morning.
But if you forgive them, basically you're saying, it didn't really matter. Exactly. Come on, do it again. And I don't think there's any such thing as real forgiveness.
Did you forgive?
Never, never. I just couldn't. I wouldn't. No.
If you love somebody,
it kills the love. Once they've done that, it kills the love for me.
I'm going through it now. I'm not actually back with him. I'm like caught in again, let's put it that way. And it's got to grow again. You can forgive one mistake, but you can't forgive two.
There's more than one pebble on the beach.
Well, yeah, but I mean, surely you can learn to forgive once. And get a relationship back.
No, because the trust is gone. I mean, if you can't trust the person to be faithful to you, how can you trust them with any other aspect of your relationship?
Well, that's got to come back as well. I mean, I'm learning now to trust my husband. I'm having to. Because he's in a job where
I haven't got any more daughters, have you?
Yes.
How old your mother?
Why are you putting yourself through that? Learning to. He's already done it.
I know, but the trust and the love has got to come back. He's turned around and said that he does love me.
Do you seriously...
Go on, better, show him, Mercy.
Do you seriously believe that he will be able to be faithful to you?
Yes. I'm forgiving him one mistake.
I agree. They can change.
They can.
I was married when I met my ex-partner, and he was married too. We were together for 12 years and both of us stayed
Wait a minute, you were married and he was married.
Yeah.
What do you mean you met?
In a bar.
But he's married.
I know.
You're married.
I know. Circumstances were that.
It's gone all coy.
You frighten me. Circumstances were that I had my child in February. I hadn't been out at all. September came, it was my friend's birthday. And she said, come on, go on then, all right. Saw this guy, top looking, everything, and couldn't keep my eyes off him. So I went over and said, can I have a dance? He went, no.
You, a married woman, went and asked him for a dance?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. You look, you don't have to touch, do you?
She went and asked him for a dance. Oh, all right, go on, yeah, go on then, okay.
And he said no, so just walked away dancing with my friends. And 2 records later, he came and said, I'll have that dance now. So we danced all night, kissed a bit. Then he walked me home. We sat on the corner for about 4 hours talking. And he said, can I see you tomorrow? And I said, yeah, of course you can, you do that. And excuse me, I do. And I thought, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm married. And he came down to work the next day and I was shaking like a leaf. I saw him coming to me and I'm thinking, oh my God. My heart was like that. Subsequently, I met him that night and I saw him every night since. After 6 weeks, I told my husband, threw me out the house, and we moved away.
He told his wife, did he?
Yeah. Yeah. We.
Had you got kids?
I've got one.
Had he got kids?
No. Okay. Only to a previous marriage.
Oh.
And
oh, they don't count then.
Yeah,
it sounded like it, didn't it?
And we moved away to Leeds and we lived there for 12 years. And unfortunately, it has ended, but not due to infidelity. Just different circumstances.
So you broke your marriage, or he broke his marriage, and you both went together, and you've been together for 12 years. And so I can't remember what you were saying to whoever it was.
To the guy down there.
To Guy, yeah. Yeah, go on.
You can stay
faithful
after you've cheated.
Can you, Hayley?
Yeah.
Is fidelity important?
I think it is, yeah.
Why? Because you did a very similar thing, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I suppose so.
You either did or you didn't.
I was really naive though.
What happened?
I worked as a secretary, and my boss, he was 11 years older than me, and he started chatting me up and, you know, making advances towards me. And I knew he was living with somebody and had children. They weren't her children, he'd been married before. So I knew it was a sort of no-go area. And I ignored him and just, you know, told him just go away, basically. And but he didn't give up. He just kept hounding me. And eventually we ended up having a relationship together. And we had a affair for 2.5 years. And I ended up getting pregnant. And we ended up getting married. And we're still married, and it's 9 years later.
Is fidelity important?
Yeah. I wouldn't. I do trust him, but I wouldn't have him back if he was unfaithful to me.
Hold on, sorry.
If he can do that to his wife, what makes you so different? Why wouldn't he then do that to you when the next little secretary comes along bending over her word processor? How do you... I don't see how you can make the distinction. If he's done it to you, he can do it to somebody else. Because presumably he loved his wife at some point. So I just don't see how you can make the distinction.
I don't think that the original relationship was anything special. I think
please, that's the... my wife doesn't understand me. It's just the usual nonsense.
At the end of the day, I really feel the same way that if he does go off with anybody else, then our relationship wasn't worth it
anyway. But in a way, he
so.
already has done. He went off with you, and I just don't see how you can close that off and make it a separate thing. Oh, he's done it once, but we wouldn't do it again because I'm different. Because his wife probably thought she was different.
It wasn't his wife actually. He just lived with somebody.
It's common law wife. That's what they're called nowadays. Don't they? They're not wives. They're partners.
And he should.
I have this argument all the time. Not with him, but people always say it to me. But I think they I think he's changed. And says, I know you've all think I'm naive, but I'm not naive.
Without women like you, women like me wouldn't have had the problems we've had.
What have you had? What problems?
You understand? I mean, if women like you weren't around, our husbands wouldn't go off cheating, our children wouldn't be without fathers. You know, I wouldn't be a one-parent family now. I've been married twice. you know, and because of a little lady like you who comes along, then my relationship is no more important.
Why is it
You know,
her
because
fault?
he's
No,
gonna...
it really was important to me. I mean, we did really, I really do feel bad about it.
Oh,
And
you do?
I do, and I've apologised to her about it as well. It's just happened.
What did she
we
say?
loved each other. I mean, sorry?
What did she say to you when you apologised to her?
She said it's all right. She'd actually
Oh, it's all right then. Yeah, go on.
She had actually got into another relationship. She knew that basically this relationship with my husband and her was a loveless relationship. So when she got into another relationship and had children, I didn't apologise straight away. It was a couple of years later. And she said, thank you, because I've now moved on to somebody who does love me.
Yeah, but why did you feel that you had to apologise to her?
Because it's wrong. I feel it's very, very wrong.
So you did know in the beginning it was wrong, what you were doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, can I just ask this lady down here?
Mercy.
Why do wives always blame the mistress? That's when it's actually the man.
Because
What I'm going to say. Why is the mistress
always blamed?
Okay, I have had 2 experiences with 2 different partners, yeah? And as far as I'm concerned, I could go out there tomorrow, decide that I want to wear mini dresses, tight trousers, low-cut tops,
I didn't ever dress like that, ever.
Okay.
I still don't.
Okay, but most of the ladies who cause marriages to break up do that.
The man was weak enough to say yes. He should have been strong enough to say no. It doesn't matter whether the girl's walking down the road naked.
To say no.
Well, they're strong enough to say yeah.
Jenny, because you've been a mistress too, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
You've been a mistress
I've been a mistress, yes.
Okay.
Before your mum went off with your husband, or
Yes.
before your mum went off?
Yes.
Was this with the man that you were married to?
No, I've had affairs with married men, and I've not been with other
more
people.
than one?
Yes.
Well, you know what they say, what goes around comes around.
True. Doesn't mean I deserve it anymore.
Oh no,
I wasn't taking anybody's husband.
Nobody deserves it. Nobody's family deserves disruption.
I wasn't taking their fathers away from the children. I just wanted the perks.
Oh.
You're in trouble.
Are there not enough single blokes out there that you can get the same perk? What perks are there?
I don't get his washing, I don't get his children,
You don't have to do a single bloke's children. And these days, you can sleep with somebody you're dating without having to marry them. So you've even got that benefit. Obviously, you can't
You've
marry
got the perks. What's the perks? Everybody wants to know what the perks are.
Yeah. Is it the perk of always being second best?
In a marriage, and for whatever reason, he's choosing to look elsewhere. And he is pleased to see you. He will come round. He's you know, you get the flowers, the chocolate. The sex is great. I don't deny that.
But what about you? What's the perk?
Self-respect.
What are the perks?
Go on.
I still respect me in the morning. I don't need a man to validate that for me.
Hang on, the man wants to know what you get back. What did you say to her?
What do you give back?
I get my freedom.
No, what do you give back for the perks that you get? What do you give back into that relationship?
What do I give to him?
Well, it's pretty obvious, isn't it?
It's whatever he wants. It's his little bit of fun.
Yeah, but by having your perks, you're having perks, and no matter if that man wants it or if he don't want you, he just wants
It's a sexual relationship.
It comes to you no matter what you say. You're still destroying a marriage. You're still destroying children.
Destroying it.
Yeah, but you're not. You're participating in it. You could say no to a married man. He could have. You're very true. He could have walked away. But so should you. He's a married man. He's got children.
Yeah, but that's his responsibility.
If he left her for you, the children become your responsibility as well. If you take someone on with children, they become your responsibility.
I don't want them.
But if you can have a split them. You just
Doesn't she realise she's destroying a happy family?
If he was happy, he wouldn't be having an affair.
You're offering him something. You're offering him something you don't want to do his washing. You're having it lovely and easy, aren't you?
Oh, and he's not.
And that poor man Oh, come on. What's he saying to you? Is he saying to you, oh, my poor wife doesn't understand
my
me?
wife doesn't understand me. I'm only together for the children.
She's probably keeping the marriage. What do you
done?
feel like at the weekends when he can't see you?
That's when I
Don't you
see
miss
them.
him? Or are you pleased?
I'm quite happy to take it whenever.
So Christmases, Easters, you don't mind?
Hang on, what is on? Go on.
You're quite happy living on your own. You're quite happy if he says he can't see you. You don't. You're quite happy living like that.
I think you're probably keeping the marriage together.
Jenny, hang on, my love.
He's not once come and said to you, I want to leave my wife for you. So that lady there is probably keeping that family together.
I would not take him in peace.
Hear what she says. Did you hear what she was? Hang on. She's got
But you're getting used, don't you feel?
But she's got to feel used.
Turn round. Hear what this one's saying. She's keeping the marriage together. Turn round. Keeping the marriage together.
She probably is keeping the marriage together.
I
mean, and at the end of the day, if she's happy as she is, and that family is together, then what are they doing wrong?
But if it got back to the wife,
Come up here. Go on, what are you saying? Sit there for me.
She's contradicting herself because she said she won't speak to her mum again.
15 years.
You what?
I was a mistress for 15 years. I was married to my husband 25 years, partially in the
Shall I push her down?
relationship. The relationship covered some of that time. I was going to divorce him after 10 years, and he said, if you divorce me now, you won't get what you do when I'm dead. 45 years on, he's dead. And I get what I wanted, but I'm in a position where I can't go out because I didn't want to be unfaithful to the second man. I stayed with him for 15 years. He had a heart attack, couldn't marry me. My husband had put me in a house. Everything I did with him was condoned. Oh, he'll take you there. He'll do that.
What, with the lover?
Yeah, with my lover, because he didn't socialise. He wouldn't take me.
Your husband didn't socialise?
No, when he first started.
Oh, you got it made then, hadn't you?
I had.
Oh, so but you weren't unfaithful then, were you, though?
I didn't think I was.
No, well, if your husband didn't mind, he knew, he condoned.
I'd like to say about my era, OK? My era, married 41 years, happily married, no problems, partner died.
You're a lucky one then.
Never unfaithful. Never. And for the last 8 years, I've had a partner relationship with a lady who also lost her husband. We're very happy together, and we do not feel that we need anybody else to take each other's place.
Do you get the perks?
Lovely.
I'm sorry. I would pick on you to say move fast, wouldn't I? I'm really sorry. Sorry, my love. Go on, what were you going to say, my friend? Don't take the microphone off me. Hang on. Go on.
Well, I'm very happy. I've been married 52 years. I get my perks free. And if I met you and you gave me free perks, that wouldn't be the same. Not the same as my wife.
Is it? Somebody said, I can't remember who it was, Susan. It might have been Mandy. But, oh yeah, it was Mandy, having a go at Mercy, suddenly saying, well, it's not just the woman, it's not the man's fault, or it might be the wife's fault. Is that the case?
I think that is the case many times. I think, I'm very happy to hear what this lady said, by the way, because I think it's very lovely that you're very forgiving. And I think it's very important, but the woman can be to blame. Women
for the man having an affair?
Yes.
Why?
For a number, for a number of reasons. The number of reasons is that, first of all, say, for instance, a woman has a baby. Sometimes the whole attention goes on the baby and the husband tends to get neglected.
That's not a fault.
No, it's not a... No, I'm not saying it's a fault. If you just bear with me, that is one of the reasons. When a woman reaches her mid-years, when a man reaches his mid-years, sometimes they feel that it's nice to have, a bit of flattery. But the woman doesn't often read the signs. She is so self-centered, and the same with some men, but I'm saying women should look and see the cracks arriving and question themselves, have they changed? Have their habits changed within the man? Have they let the figures go?
But that, excuse me, that's ridiculous. Going back to when they had the child.
You're trying to say women are dollies.
When they've had the child, he must have wanted the child as much as the woman.
Exactly,
so
but I'm
he
talking
should have
about
helped her
attention.
bring the child up.
What about the wife having a bit of affection from the husband if she's got a baby all day? I'm not saying it's the whole answer. I'm saying it is one of the reasons. And this lady seems to think that it's the
reason.
dolly
What was the other
women.
reasons?
No, because
what's the other reasons?
Mid-years crisis. I mean, when women
Oh, the male menopause.
The male menopause.
See,
and
Marilyn,
the
you
female
don't
menopause.
understand. It's when you have babies and the men have the menopause. Susan, I'm still with you.
I have no children. I was in a position where everything, I mean, to this day, I did say to him after it all happened, what on earth went wrong? Why on earth did you feel the need to stray? We talk about everything, we laugh about everything, we have a lot of shared interests. And he said, nothing was wrong with you, it was just me, I was travelling a lot, I was feeling down, I've been away from home, this woman made me feel better. But he was saying, well, it was nothing. It's difficult to not think, oh, God, what have I done? Is it where I wear my hair? Is it where I stir my coffee in the morning?
I'm saying it's more than that.
Listen to Susan, then. Let's go on.
I'm saying it's more than that because women have their women relationships, men like to be with the men, and some women are rather dependent on their partners. They resent the men going to the pubs. Men have men conversation. Women have female conversations. And men and women do think in different ways. And there are different levels of emotionality. Women are more overt with their emotions and men are more internal. They don't put them on display.
You know that's a load of rubbish, don't you?
It's not a load of rubbish.
It is a load of rubbish. What do you mean men have men conversations? Where's
Yes,
this
they
men?
do. They
you
like
mean,
men,
hang on.
they like to be with the boys
But
in the
they don't
pubs.
always want to be with the boys. They
I'm not
sometimes,
saying
but a woman doesn't keep him from being with the boys, does she?
Some women do.
Oh, you mean no?
Well, this chap's obviously been hurt because he doesn't think that in any relationship he's going to go into, he's going to have a trusting relationship.
Okay, no. Okay. Now you've given all the reasons. You've given all, perhaps there's more. But for the moment you have, all right, let's test them on Guy. Was she having a baby?
No.
Were you in the male menopause?
No.
Were you not allowed to speak with the boys?
No.
What's the other one? Come on, Susan. I'm pretty your words. Well, there he is. There he is. He said he's had hundreds of affairs.
You're going to relationships and saying, well, they're not going to work. You don't put
No,
everything...
I'm going into relationships saying I don't want to be faithful.
Why
I want to have variety. I want to enjoy, experience everyone.
Insecurity and you've got to have
so it's not the wife's fault. It's his deep insecurity now.
It's the wife's fault.
What else?
It's the man's fault as well.
What else? Mercy.
You're obviously very insecure, and I'm saying he hasn't had
I'm not
an
insecure at all.
Well, if you're going... Why bother going to relationships if you say, well, it's not going to last, I think I'm just going to move on? It actually says a lot about you.
I'm transient.
You're not committed. No, it's not. I'm saying it's something to do with your emotionality. You haven't
I'm very happy this way. I don't want commitment.
If someone said, one person
Take your hands
said
off him.
once, that if someone says...
Honestly, I don't.
No, hold on. When someone says they're happy all the time, they're liars, because none of us are happy all the time. Relationships, you have ups and downs. And this is part of relationship. It's nothing to do with sex all the time. It is companionship.
I just want to say, I've heard all the mistresses and things like that. I just want to know, there is millions and millions and millions of men or women in this world. Why are you so sad that you've got to go for somebody else's man or somebody else's woman? Why can't you go out and find somebody else?
Yeah, there's
Jenny, talking to you, Jenny.
There's too many men in the world.
Too many what?
I've travelled the whole world and I've seen so many men.
husband and I
and in reality, I don't think I'm going to share my man.
Hang on.
If I have to share him, I don't want him. Seriously.
Yeah, but
no, but what I'm saying, if you think you're going to have peace of mind and then give him back to me,
Listen to each other.
I wanted the relationships I've had with these men has been on my terms.
Yeah.
It's been how I wanted it.
Don't you ever think about the children in concern?
No.
It's all right you sitting there and saying, them his kids, and they're none of your responsibility. It's their lives that you're disrupting. You are disrupting other people's lives, not adults, people who are beyond your control. It's not none of your control. It's children that's concerned. And I actually feel sorry for Carol Ball's children as well as my own. They're a lot older, but they've had some embarrassment to put up, albeit through me. But I don't lie down and die for nobody. And I would certainly not lie down
When
and
you've
die
been
for
through
you.
all this, can you pick your life up again? Can you pick up the pieces?
Yes. You can, but what I'd like to say is I'd like to belong to that generation because I think they got it right.
We've been married for 46 years. We've worked harder for marriage.
I'm having bids here. Any bid on 46? Really turn around.
Yeah.
What?
I said we've worked hard at our marriage.
You've worked hard at it.
We've been married for 46 years. I've got children, and like yourself, I've got 2 gorgeous grandsons.
I've only got 1.
I've got 2.
Right.
But I love them to bits, and I wouldn't have changed it if I had my life all over
So you're
again.
very happy, Georgia.
I wouldn't have
All you've
changed
got to do,
one
sweetheart, is
thing.
dye your hair. It's grey, silver. You know, life's very difficult, very hard. You can't lay down any fast rules here because we're all different. We all have different circumstances to deal with. And what you have to do is not what anybody else tells you. You don't listen to other people. If you had a problem in your relationship, it's your problem. Between you and him, or you and her. And what other people do is a matter for them. Don't listen to them. You don't have to abide by their rules. What you have to do is what's best for you. And if you feel comfortable, it's right. Take care of yourselves.
If you'd like to join Robert in a programme about revenge, call now on 0990 100 771. Have you taken revenge against an ex-lover? What did you do? Do you feel you want to take revenge, or have you managed to stop yourself from doing something vengeful? Has an ex-partner taken revenge on you? Why? Have they damaged your property or attacked you personally? Call 2 on 0990 100 771 if you think it's better to get on with your life than be consumed by revenge.
Some people spend a lifetime searching for the perfect holiday, from far afield to close at home.
Whoever loses cleans out the chemicals.
Experiencing the ups.
Just beyond those rocks over there is Praia de Rocha, which is absolutely packed. If you take a 10-minute little walk just in this direction, you'll be pleasantly surprised.
As well as the downs.
It just wasn't quite as I'd hoped it would be.
Summer Holiday brings it all to your armchair. Tomorrow at 7 on BBC One.
Come on.
Here, Tony. It's less than £9 a month.
Yes, yes.
Oh.
Oh, yes! 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 Yes!
Call free on 0800 328 2020 and pay for your TV licence by direct debit.
Now on BBC One, George Alagaya with a summary of...
She's not going to have a word said against him. I should know. I used to feel the same way about her once.